Sisters, carry on. Sisters, carry on. It may be rocky and it may be rough, but sisters, carry on.
It is good to be gathered with such beautiful siblings in this struggle for human rights. We are weary that once again we must rally to claim rights for the most vulnerable among us. Let us not be divided. Let us not let differences of identity or political affiliation take us away from our shared project. That we are all created equal, that we all have rights that cannot be taken away, that we are called to care for one another. So may it be. Amen.
Welcome! Let's shout that out to each other. Welcome! Today we're rallying for abortion justice to demand the future we know is possible. A world where compassionate and affordable abortion care is available to all our communities with love and support. Yes! Thank you for showing up, standing up, and speaking up. Let's say that together. Stand up, speak up, show up.
Abortion, never an easy choice. Sometimes the right choice, always a woman's choice. Reproductive justice, the definition, is the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. That's what today is about. Thank you so much for being here.
So I see a sign out there that says, why do I have to keep protesting this stuff? And that's right on target. Some people have thought the fight for reproductive rights was over, that we protected access to reproductive health care, including abortion services, a long time ago. Whoever thought that certainly knows better now. Restrictions on access to abortion hurt us all, regardless of gender or age or zip code. But who's hurt most of all? Who's purposefully targeted in laws that restrict access? Those living in poverty, people of color, those in rural areas, the marginalized populations. We stand up for all people when we protect access to abortion. How do we do it in Maine? We elect strong majorities in the House and Senate who refuse to pass harmful legislation and who instead pass laws that protect access. We elect a governor who supports reproductive health care. Hand in hand with efforts to undermine progress in access to reproductive health care, including legal abortion, are efforts that are just as insidious, efforts to restrict access to the vote. How do we protect access to abortion, to all reproductive health care, to the right to vote? It's to do what we're doing today, showing up, standing up, speaking up. We need to continue doing that because, as that sign says, as tired as we are, we need to keep fighting.
I believe we need to do all we can at the state level to fight back against bad legislation, and at the federal level to make access to reproductive care the law of the land. Congress must pass the Women's Health Protection Act and the EACH Act to end the Hyde Amendment, protecting the availability of all abortion care and the people who provide that care, ensure it is affordable, and ensure it can reach BIPOC communities and those working to make ends meet without unnecessary barriers, stigma, or shame. We believe every person should be able to make decisions about pregnancy and parenting and be able to carry and deliver a pregnancy free from fear and government control. Here in Maine, there were 6 bills to restrict the right to choose. All were debated, and thanks to a Democratic majority in the House and Senate, all were defeated. 2 of Your state legislators are the first line of defense against policies that deliberately roll back progress on abortion rights and reproductive health across the country. Here in Maine, Democrats in the legislature will continue to fight back against abortion bans no matter what. We will fight back any effort to strip away access to health care. And now we're asking Congress to do the same. And so I ask that you join me in repeating, abortion justice cannot wait. Abortion justice cannot wait. Abortion justice cannot wait. Abortion justice cannot wait.
How many signs are out there? Raise your signs, ladies and gentlemen. Women's rights can't be ignored. Protect safe legal abortion. Gilead, we won't let it happen here. U.S. out of my uterus. My body, my choice. I am the boss of my body. Don't tread on me. Grr. All ages. All ages.
As someone who is old enough to remember a time before Roe, and those were dark times and scary times in my life and the life of my friends and colleagues, I know better than most that banning abortions does not stop people from getting abortions. It just stops them from getting safe abortions. It doesn't protect people's lives and livelihoods, but rather endangers their well-being, their health, and the security for people who can get pregnant. I've heard all of the political arguments against abortion access. None of them hold water. Abortion bans disproportionately impact poor people and people of color. Politicians who vote against abortion access rarely vote in favor of the things we know will help struggling families and prevent the need for abortion. Investments in quality public school education, expanded social safety nets, science-based comprehensive sex education, and most importantly, quality, affordable health care for all people. At the end of the day, banning abortion isn't about being pro-life. It's about controlling people's lives. When people have the freedom to choose when and if to carry a pregnancy to term, they have the freedom to be their fullest selves. They are empowered to contribute to their community in a time and a manner that makes sense for them. I had the privilege in 1995 of attending the United Nations conference in Beijing, China, where Hillary Clinton spoke the words, "Human rights are women's rights, are human rights. Women's rights are human rights, are women's rights. We will not go back. We will fight for our rights." Thank you. Y'all with me? Let's send it down the block. Women's rights are human rights, are women's rights. Human rights are women's rights, are human's rights. You could do it louder. I'm not hearing it all. You got to be louder than the mic. Let's try that again. Women's rights are human rights, are women's rights. Human rights are women's rights, are human rights.
I'm here to represent the direct service perspective. I represent nearly 100 staff who provide the full range of sexual and reproductive health care on a day in and day out basis. We provide abortion care at all 18 of our sites in some of the most rural communities in the country's most rural state. We are proud of the abortion care we provide. We do not shrink from defending access to abortion as a human right, and we join our allies at Planned Parenthood and the Mabel Wadsworth Health Center in seizing every opportunity to increase access to abortion care. We are here today for the same reason: the rising tide of attacks on reproductive rights in 2021. This is the most hostile year on record for abortion rights. Yes, 600 anti-abortion measures, up from 300 the year before. 90 of them passed. Led by all of the state legislators beside me, we fought back against and defeated 6 bills whose goals were to restrict access to abortion, shame and coerce our patients, and require healthcare providers to peddle dangerous information on so-called abortion reversal pills. Legal access to abortion in Maine is not guaranteed by our state constitution, which would be the highest form of protection. Instead, it is safeguarded by state law through the Reproductive Privacy Act of 1993 that codifies the tenets of Roe v. Wade at the state level. What we need to remember is that state legislation can be undone. Maine Family Planning and Planned Parenthood are all too familiar with how quickly decades of established precedents can be undone, as we both rejected millions of federal family planning dollars when we refused to abide by stigmatizing anti-abortion restrictions enacted by the former federal administration. What can we do? Everything. We must throw the kitchen sink at this. We need to protect and expand voting rights. We need to abolish the filibuster. We need to reform the Supreme Court, establish term limits. Through you, I hope we will build a future where all people are supported in their decision to have children or not to have children in communities that are healthy, equitable, and thriving.
Welcome, and thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for the chance to add my voice to yours and the hundreds and thousands of others assembled across the nation today. You are standing up and shouting out because you've seen the writing on the wall. Texas has put a bounty on women seeking abortion, and the U.S. Supreme Court has discarded nearly half a century of legal precedent. Few decisions are more personal, private, and far-reaching than whether and when to have children. All of us believe in the fundamental right of women, not politicians, to make private, personal decisions about childbearing. I welcome new voices in this more inclusive movement that seeks not only to protect individual reproductive rights, but also address social, racial, and economic inequalities so that we are working to achieve reproductive justice that is truly for all. And in response to the draconian Texas law and the court's partisan decision to let it stand, I'm proud to have recently joined my House colleagues in passing the Women's Health Protection Act, which will ensure abortion access nationwide and finally codify protections established in earlier court rulings. There has never been a more crucial time to show up, not just for ourselves or women in Maine, but for women across our nation. You inspire me to continue to fight in Congress, and as my former colleague, Representative John Lewis, used to say, to make good trouble. I invite you all to be leaders, to be advocates, and to recommit to what is before us, not just holding the line, but moving forward. We will never go back. Sincerely, Shelley Pingree.
I'm a member of Grandmothers for Reproductive Rights. Grrr! We hope our activism shakes up stereotypes of older women. Expect us to talk about sex and abortion and contraception and comprehensive, high-quality health care and shaking off stigma. Grandmothers are storytellers. We hold memories. We bear witness. Our life experiences make us passionately determined to make abortion more accessible to everyone who needs that care, because abortion is health care. So, what do we do now with this reactionary Supreme Court? We double down. We make noise. Then we make more noise. We get organized. We vote. We organize others to vote. We contact our members of Congress. Right now, our focus is on the Women's Health Protection Act, also known as WIPA, and the EACH Act. Susan Collins, I know, still needs to hear from us often. She needs to know how we feel, and we need to push her on both these pieces of legislation. The Women's Health Protection Act and the EACH Act are essential for our health care and our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Dear friends, thank you for joining together today in support of reproductive rights. Please know that I stand in solidarity with you and that I will proudly continue to fight alongside you to protect the rights of women here in Maine and across the nation. Access to reproductive health, including abortion, is vital to the independence and dignity of every person in our state. And right now, those very rights are under attack. The United States Supreme Court's refusal to prevent the dangerous law in Texas from taking effect is a dog whistle to extremists that they can and should push forward their anti-choice agenda in state houses across the country. Here in Maine, you can be damn sure that as long as I am governor, I will stand strong to protect the rights of women and that I will fight every and any threat to undermine, roll back, or outright eliminate access to reproductive health care services. Yeah! Since I took office in January 2019, Maine has not only protected but expanded access to critical reproductive health care services. From enacting a law allowing physician assistants and advanced practice registered nurses to perform abortions, to signing legislation to require private and public insurance providers to cover abortion care. My administration is committed to ensuring that every person in our state can access affordable, high-quality health care, including safe reproductive services, no matter their income, their zip code, or the color of their skin. With your support, we will fight against the forces who wish to roll back access to safe and legal abortion. I could not do it without you, and I thank you for your fierce advocacy, courage, and dedication to protecting these rights for all Maine people. Thank you, Governor Janet T. Mills.
I just have to say, I am so energized right now looking out at all of you. As a young person, the issue of abortion access and reproductive freedom is near and dear to my heart, and often at the front of my mind, typically about once a month. Over the years, so much talk about abortion has been of the most dire stories. Cases of sexual assault and abuse, atopic or other unsafe pregnancies, and sudden health complications, and otherwise unwanted or unplanned pregnancies. I've had friends who could have lost their lives if it wasn't for the ability to end a deadly atopic or unsafe pregnancy. We often hear the statistic of 1 in 4 women in the country end up needing abortion care. But due to stigma and fear, often those stories go untold. We give power to those who oppose this basic right when we hide our experiences in the dark. By sharing our stories, we make it clear that abortion is part of reproductive health and something that is a crucial option for many people. Abortion is healthcare, and healthcare is a human right. Roe versus Wade was decided by the US Supreme Court nearly 50 years ago, but we're still fighting this battle, so I'm going to say it again and again and again. Abortion is healthcare, and healthcare is a human right. There are still politicians who want to control your body and restrict your access to abortion. Their arguments, while emotional, are simply not grounded in our reality, and their votes on other policy matters show their true colors. It's not about life, it is about control. They fear what they can't control and attempts to limit people's access to reproductive care, including abortions, is one of the most basic forms of control, and we will not let it happen. I believe that the freedom to choose when and if to get an abortion is fundamental. And to close, I'll say it once again. Abortion is healthcare, and healthcare is a human right. Thank you. Oh, I'm being told once again. Abortion is healthcare, and healthcare is a human right.
Our ancient prophets and rabbinic ancestors preached that human life is sacred. They implored their followers, and us by extension, to love the most vulnerable. They taught that a just society organizes itself to ensure the dignity of each and every one of its members. We have the sacred obligation to carry out the prophetic vision for the love and care of every human being. We do this by ensuring that women and all people have access to legal, safe, and affordable health care, including abortions. May we be bolstered by our experience of standing together with one voice. May we continue to work to demand that our elected officials across our nation ensure that abortions and reproductive health care are affordable and accessible for all people. God, restore our souls and grant us the energy and organizing capacity to continue the critical work ahead. And we say, Amen.
We will be participating in one song, and we can use all your voices so the press and the world can hear us singing. And all of us who have organized and worked on this event, thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all of you for your signs, your love, your applause, your passing on the baton of choice.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
We are a peaceful, loving people.
We are peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
We are gay and straight together.
We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
We are young and old together.
We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives.
We are all in this together.
We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing,